Have you ever woken up in the morning, slowly placed your feet on the floor, and suddenly felt like your knees just aren't as cooperative as they used to be? That sensation, a slight ache, a bit of weakness, maybe even a quiet crackling sound from your joints. It's like a gentle whisper reminding you that time is walking beside you. And if you're over 60, perhaps that whisper has become a regular part of your mornings. I know, because I've been there too, and I've asked myself that same question. Is there a way to grow older and still move with strength? Still be able to climb a few stairs without catching my breath? Still have the energy to chase the grandkids around the garden without aching knees or a stiff back? And the answer is yes, but not through pills, not through magic. It's through something much simpler, much closer, something we already invite into our lives 3 times a day: the food we eat. Dear friend, our bones, just like us, grow tired. If we don't nourish them, they become fragile, hollow, and may suddenly break when we least expect it. But when we feed them right, they can stay as sturdy as a strong old tree, weathering winds, rain, and the years, rooted in strength. So today, I invite you to sit with me, just like old friends sharing tea, and together we'll explore something simple, yet deeply valuable. Ordinary foods that are easy to find, easy to prepare, but hold the power to strengthen your bones after 60. And if what I'm about to share brings you a bit of hope, or sparks a memory, or simply feels like a gentle nudge toward better days, I invite you to leave a comment below with the number 1. That way I'll know you're there, walking this path alongside me. Now, let me start with the first food, a humble but mighty friend we've probably all known since childhood: leafy greens. I remember my grandmother, tiny as she was, always had a little patch of garden behind our house. No matter how modest our meals were, she made sure there was always a handful of greens on the table: spinach, mustard leaves, collard greens, whatever was in season. And she used to say, "The bones of the earth grow from green." Back then, I didn't understand what she meant, but now I do. Dark leafy greens are packed with calcium, the mineral that helps build and maintain strong bones. And unlike dairy, which some of us may have trouble digesting as we age, greens offer a gentler, cleaner source of bone-nourishing calcium. But they don't stop there. They also bring vitamin K, magnesium, and antioxidants to the table. Think of it as a supportive team for your skeletal system. Now, you might be wondering, do I need to eat them raw, boiled, blended? Let me tell you what works best for many seniors I've walked this journey with. A simple stir-fry with garlic and olive oil not only enhances the flavor, but also makes nutrients more absorbable. Or perhaps a warm green soup with a bit of bone broth, soothing, nourishing, and perfect for cooler evenings. And if chewing is a challenge, blending spinach or kale into a smoothie with banana and almond milk can be both gentle and powerful. You don't have to eat like a monk to have the bones of a warrior. You just have to make small, consistent choices, one bowl at a time. And if by chance you have a favorite leafy green recipe, maybe one passed down from your mother or a dish you discovered later in life, feel free to share it in the comments. You never know who might be inspired by it. As we take a breath and continue this gentle conversation, let's move slowly and mindfully, just like a walk through a quiet garden, toward another gift of nature that holds strength for our bones. There's something quietly comforting about talking like this, don't you think? As if we were sitting side by side on a sunlit porch, listening to the soft rustling of leaves while sipping warm tea. Conversations about health, about food, about aging. They're not just about the body. They're about the spirit, the memory, the life we've lived, and the life we still want to live, fully and joyfully. Now, after leafy greens, which truly are like gentle guardians of our bones, there's another food I want to bring into our story. One that doesn't just nourish bones, but supports muscles and balance too. And as we age, balance becomes more than physical. It becomes symbolic, don't you agree? That food is salmon. Yes, the pink, tender, flavorful kind from the sea. I still remember the first time I tasted salmon. It wasn't part of my childhood meals. Back then, we mostly ate freshwater fish from nearby rivers. But one year, my daughter brought home a baked salmon for dinner, carefully seasoned with lemon and herbs. When I took the first bite, it was like my body instinctively knew, this is something I need. And it turns out, it truly is. Salmon is rich in vitamin D, a nutrient that acts like a bridge, helping your body absorb calcium and put it where it belongs, in your bones. Without enough vitamin D, even if you eat plenty of calcium, much of it goes to waste. That's why, especially after 60, getting enough of this sunshine vitamin is vital. But salmon doesn't stop there. It also offers omega-3 fatty acids, those heart-loving, joint-soothing fats that help reduce inflammation. Because let's be honest, stiff joints and achy mornings aren't just about bones, they're about inflammation too. And salmon helps ease that fire gently and naturally. Some people worry about cooking fish, but it doesn't have to be fancy. A simple salmon fillet baked with olive oil, a sprinkle of turmeric, and slices of lemon, that's more than a meal, it's medicine. And if salmon isn't easy to find where you live, or if your budget is tight, consider sardines or mackerel. These little fish are humble, yes, but they carry the same strength. In fact, sardines even have soft edible bones, which add natural calcium into your body in the most seamless way. Isn't it beautiful how nature works like that? Now let's walk a little further on this path. The next food may surprise you. It's not leafy, it's not fish, it's nuts, especially almonds and walnuts. Let me tell you a story. There's an old man I knew, Mr. Dad. He used to carry a small tin box in his pocket every time we met. He'd sit down, open it with a gentle click, and offer me a few almonds. Medicine, he'd say, smiling with that familiar glint in his eyes. No pills, just almonds. I used to chuckle at that, but over time I came to realize he was right. Almonds are a beautiful source of magnesium, a mineral many of us lack, especially as we age. Magnesium doesn't just work quietly in the background. It helps your bones absorb calcium better and keeps them from becoming brittle. And walnuts? They're rich in omega-3 too, especially the plant-based kind. And they offer anti-inflammatory benefits that help with bone health indirectly by calming down the whole body. What I love most about nuts is how simple they are. No preparation needed. A small handful a day, maybe in the morning, maybe as a snack in the afternoon with green tea, is more than enough. Just be mindful not to overdo it, because as kind as nuts are, they're also quite rich. Now here's a little idea, one that many of my older students have adopted. Keep a small jar of mixed nuts by your kitchen window, next to where you make tea or breakfast. Every time you pass by, take a moment, not just to grab a few, but to pause, breathe, and remember, you are nourishing your bones, your body, and your future. Tell me, do you already have a favorite nut? Or perhaps a childhood memory of cracking open walnuts with your bare hands? Or helping your parents shell peanuts for family meals? These moments stay with us. And when we eat these foods now, we don't just feed the body, we feed the soul with familiarity and comfort. As we continue on this journey, gently unfolding each layer of wisdom together, there's more to share. More gifts from nature that your bones are quietly hoping you'll invite in. But let's not rush. Let's take a breath here, letting all this settle like good soil. Because when it comes to caring for our bodies after 60, it's not about racing, it's about rhythm. A steady, peaceful rhythm that carries us toward well-being, one meal, one choice, one story at a time. There's a kind of wisdom that only time can teach. You don't find it in books or clinics. It's the kind of wisdom you feel in your hands after years of kneading dough, or in your knees after long walks through the market on a Sunday morning. And if we listen, really listen, our body often tells us what it needs. Quietly, patiently, sometimes in whispers, we only start hearing after 60. So far we've talked about greens, salmon, and nuts, each one like a small note in a beautiful melody of healing. But there's another sound in that melody, deep and grounding. It comes from something ancient, simple, and often simmered with love over a stove for hours. I'm talking about bone broth. I remember the smell of it wafting through my grandmother's kitchen, rich, warm, almost like an embrace. She'd boil chicken or pork bones for hours, tossing in a few roots, a splash of vinegar, and just let it do its magic. Back then, we just called it soup. But now we understand. This humble broth is a treasure for aging bones. You see, bone broth is full of collagen, gelatin, and amino acids, the quiet builders of our joints and bones. As we age, our body produces less collagen, which means our bones lose flexibility and our joints become stiffer. But bone broth helps replenish some of that loss gently and naturally. And it's not just about collagen. Bone broth contains calcium, phosphorus, and magnesium, released slowly from the bones as they cook. These minerals come in a form your body recognizes, absorbs, and uses right away, like receiving a warm, handwritten letter instead of a printed ad. Now, some people feel intimidated by the idea of making bone broth, but trust me, it's far simpler than it sounds. All you need is a pot, a handful of bones, chicken, beef, or even fish, and time. Add a splash of vinegar to help draw out the minerals, and let it simmer gently for 6 to 8 hours. The longer it cooks, the richer the broth becomes. You can drink it plain, sip it in the evening like a calming tea, or use it as a base for your favorite soups. And if you find yourself sitting quietly in the kitchen, sipping broth and staring out the window, know that you're not just feeding your body, you're honoring a tradition that connects generations. I once had a student, a gentle, quiet man in his 70s, who told me that after losing his wife, he stopped cooking. Meals became rushed, joyless. But when he learned to make bone broth, he said it gave him a reason to slow down again. It reminds me of her, he told me. The smell, the warmth, and my knees don't hurt as much now either. There's healing in food, but there's also healing in the memories they carry. Now, as we step forward, I want to share a food that might surprise you. Not because it's exotic or expensive, but because it's so familiar that many of us have stopped paying attention to it. That food is eggs. Yes, eggs. You'd be amazed how many people overlook the humble egg. But tucked inside that smooth shell is a powerhouse of nutrition. Eggs are rich in vitamin D, which we've talked about earlier, but also vitamin B12, choline, high-quality protein, and small amounts of calcium. What makes eggs so special for those of us past 60 is how bioavailable their nutrients are, meaning your body can absorb and use them with ease. And that's important, especially when digestion slows down with age. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but aren't eggs bad for cholesterol? It's a fair question, one we've heard for decades. But recent studies, and more importantly, real-life experience, have shown that for most older adults, eating 1 to 2 eggs a day is not only safe but beneficial, especially when part of a balanced diet. Eggs also contain protein that helps maintain muscle mass, which is crucial. You see, our bones don't stand alone. They're supported by muscles, and when muscles weaken, bones bear the strain. Think of your bones as pillars, and your muscles as the ropes holding them steady. Eggs help keep those ropes strong. One woman I worked with, Auntie Han, we all called her, used to eat a boiled egg every morning with a pinch of salt and a cup of green tea. She said it gave her energy for gardening. At 84, she was still tending her flowers, crouching, digging, pruning, all because she kept her bones and muscles in harmony. If you're unsure how to enjoy eggs, start simple. Boil them. Scramble them with vegetables, or make a soft omelet with mushrooms and spinach. Whatever feels gentle and nourishing to you. And if you have your own special way of preparing eggs, maybe something your parents used to make for you, I'd love for you to share it in the comments. These little traditions, these quiet recipes, they carry more than nutrition. They carry warmth, history, and identity. As we gently round the corner toward the final stretch of our conversation, I want you to pause for a moment, not to look back, but to stand where you are now and feel something. Feel your breath, feel your feet, feel the quiet strength still alive in your bones, because that strength hasn't left you. It's just waiting to be nourished. You're still here with me, and that tells me something beautiful. It tells me that you care, not just about living longer, but about living well, with strength, with grace, with dignity in every step. We've walked through greens and fish, nuts and broth, and the familiar comfort of eggs, each one a quiet companion, a helper placed gently by nature into our lives. But there's one more, one final gift I want to share before we close this circle. It's not flashy and it's not rare. It doesn't come in fancy packaging or cost more than a cup of tea. In fact, you may have passed it in the market 1,000 times without thinking twice. I'm talking about sweet potatoes. Ah, sweet potatoes. Earthy, soft, nourishing. The kind of food that feels like a hug from the inside out. When I was a child, we ate sweet potatoes, not because we knew they were healthy, but because they were what we had. Boiled, roasted over charcoal, mashed into porridge, they were part of everyday life. And now, looking back, I realize that humble root was quietly fortifying our bones all along. Sweet potatoes are rich in potassium and magnesium, two minerals that help maintain bone density and balance the acids in your body that can erode calcium from your bones. And they carry vitamin A, which supports the cells responsible for bone growth. But there's something more to sweet potatoes, something no vitamin label can measure. They carry warmth, comfort, a sense of home. I knew a woman once, soft-spoken, eyes full of wisdom. She had a garden behind her little house, and every year she planted sweet potatoes. Not for sale, not even for meals, always. She said it was for the practice, the ritual of growing something gentle and good. It reminds me, she'd say, that strength comes from what we nurture. She lived well into her 90s, walking daily, laughing often, her posture straight as a bamboo stalk. So, my friend, if you ever feel overwhelmed by the noise of diets, trends, or products that promise the world, I invite you to return to something like sweet potatoes. Something quiet, something real. Bake one tonight, slice it warm, eat it slowly. Feel how the earth gives back to you. Now you may be thinking, is that really all it takes? Let me tell you, strength doesn't always come in loud declarations. Sometimes it comes in a morning habit, a boiled egg, a walk after dinner, a bowl of broth simmered with love, or in the calm decision to treat your body like an old friend who deserves care, not criticism. Let me tell you, strength doesn't always come in loud declarations. Sometimes it comes in a morning habit, a boiled egg, a walk after dinner, a bowl of broth simmered with love, or in the calm decision to treat your body like an old friend who deserves care, not criticism. And if you've made it this far in the video, from the first whisper of creaky joints to this soft closing moment, then I'd love to know you're here. Maybe leave a comment below and tell me, which food spoke to you most today? Or perhaps share a memory of a meal that once made you feel strong. You can also write the number 6, so I know you've walked this full journey with me, all 6 steps. Every number, every comment, they remind me that on the other side of this screen is a person, not a view count. And if you found even a small spark of peace, hope, or inspiration in what we shared together, I gently invite you to like this video or subscribe to the channel, not for me, but for you, so that this kind of quiet care continues to find you week by week. I'll be right here, preparing the next story, the next meal for the soul. Until then, take a slow, deep breath. Feel the ground beneath you, and know this: your bones are not failing you. They are waiting for you to remember them, to nourish them, to walk forward with them, strong, steady, and full of life. You're not too old to begin again. You're just right now. And I'll be with you every step of the way.